Hi guys, welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo LeBay, here as part of Star Nation's radio network and being broadcast through BeLive TV and into Facebook and YouTube land. How are you guys doing? This is a really cool energy that we have entered, and I'm excited to see where it's going to take us. We are having today, we are in the new moon. And as well, there is a eclipse that's happening. And we won't see it here in the Northern Hemisphere. It'll be visible in South America, but we still will feel the energetic turbulence as we go through today and for a few days. Yeah, this is going to be exciting. And my team wanted me to talk to you today about sacral energy. The second chakra is a very important connection energy for us to all know how to tap into, recognize when it's feeling a little wobbly, and do some course corrections, because it is the foundation, the key of how we manifest, how we create abundance. It's at the root of our relationships and our emotional well-being. So it's a pretty big deal for a chakra. So we're going to be focused on that today. So I'm just going to check in and see who's here today. So good morning. Joanne already was here and shared. Good morning, Christine, glad to have you. I always love that it's evening for you. I'm glad you're joining us this evening. Hi, Annette, welcome. Oh, Julie, nice to have you in the house. Welcome, welcome. And Vicki is saying, yep, she's already feeling everything in the sacral. And Ellen says there always seems to be energetic turbulence. My sacral is wobbly, but we'll catch the archives as daylight means gardening. Of course. No worries, Ellen, that, we got to take it also looks like it's going to rain out our way. So got to grab those opportunities to get in that garden and take good care of everything. Hi, Andrew. Nice to have you in the house. Glad to see you here with us. So, of course, Rochelle. We will definitely send healing and help to you today, sweetie. No worries. I'm just going to write your name down so you're on my, I have an evening healing list for people who are having some difficult symptoms. I don't do it just for normal things, but I know, Rochelle, that you had some surgery and stuff, so I can see that. I can sense your pain, so I will definitely send you some full healing as we get to the meditation, sweetie. So just hang in there. My team, I think, already got started as soon as you requested. So here we are. And yeah, Ellen, turbulent energy definitely is up on the planet, kind of almost in a constant state of turbulence at the moment, because as we're moving to sort of raise the vibration of the planet, there's a lot of shaking and letting go that needs to happen. And when the planets align to help shake up the earth energy, we're along for the ride. And we can either choose to, be proactive and use that turbulent energy to get some extra movement on things, or we can be in a state where we're more of the victim and we don't know what's happening to us and why it's happening. And that can be really uncomfortable, because all of a sudden your mood shift, or or your partner starts acting strange and you just don't understand. But if you have an awareness that stuff is shifting on a planetary level, then sometimes it's easier not to take it personally. I guess that's the best way for me to phrase that, or for my team to bring that in. So this sacral chakra, this is that second chakra. And it is a doozy. So if you have anybody out there in Facebook land that you think might be having some difficulty, if you could like and share the broadcast, that would be super great, because then it can get out there to more people, can reach more people, give them a way to really start moving their energy rather than feeling like a victim to what's going on around them, inside them. So thank you for that ahead of time. So that sacral chakra is orange in color. Let me just get my name up here. So in the, almost in the orange color that I've used, for the banner on the bottom, that is the color of our second chakra. When it's in a healthy place, it looks nice and juicy. But the reality is, because so much energy gets its flow from here, because it's connected to our water element, that it really can get dammed up. It can get stuck in a whole bunch of different ways. And let's just sort of check into maybe some of the ways that the energy is having difficulty flowing for you. So let's start with abundance. That's the big one for a lot of people. And abundance is not just money, but it certainly is money. Because if money is not flowing in and out evenly, like it comes in gracefully and you're able to just pay your bills easily, and then it comes back in, that is in an energetic flow. If you're not worrying about it, if you're not stressing about it. But there are times when that energy gets hiccupy. That's how I see it, as like a blip. If you were looking at an energy reading, and it was going straight across, then all of a sudden there's a blip, like there's an earthquake. That's what can happen with our abundance flow. So when we get that blip on our radar, that things aren't quite moving the way they're meant to, we can either panic, freak out, or we can start to try to make things happen. And all of those actually create resistance to the flow. What will restore the flow is looking for things that are blocking it. And this is going to sound very simplistic, but how one thing flows in your energy field is how everything flows. So I instantly look to what's not moving energetically in my environment, because it's often easier to see things around us than to see things that are inside of us. I can tell you that you may have some beliefs around money that will create problems for your abundance to flow. Like that you're not worthy of having a lot of money, or you're not worthy of having nice things. But that is something that we can't always see without the help of someone else. I always feel like when we're working on altering our belief patterns, it's good to get a helper. It's good to have like a therapist or an energy healer, or a really good friend who you do the same thing for them, where you can process together and kind of look at where energy is not flowing. But if you don't have that system in place, well, what do you do? And it starts by really starting to look for where energy's collecting and getting caught in your house. And so that's like, where are your clutter areas? Where are you keeping things and not putting things away? So for me, I can tell when things are getting out of whack for me, when mail starts to collect in a particular spot, like on the kitchen table or the kitchen counter, or on a desk. Like if it's not getting opened and put away and taken care of, then I know that that energy is stuck. I look at my junk drawer. I look at my closets. I look at my car. You know, have I thrown stuff in my car? Or is it clean and neat and the way that it's pristine? So one of the things that we can do is we can start to look for that. It also is a really cool indicator for when, if you're in a relationship, you can start to see where your partner's energy flow is off. Not that we're going to go into blame or anything like that, because, you know, that is not going to serve energy flow either. But you can start to notice if they're getting messy, you know, maybe the clothes aren't getting into the hamper, and they're on the floor next to it. You can say, hey, sweetie, what's up? I just feel like the energy isn't off, you know, or dishes are piling up in the sink. And it's one of those ways that you can become aware of, okay, energy's collecting in certain spots. And so how do I move it? And, you know, how many of you have had times when you've got this big thing, this big project that you want to work on, and all you can think about is cleaning your room? And so you're trying to fight that sense of cleaning your room, and just trying to focus on that task at hand. Well, as soon as you have the energy and it's focusing on, hey, you need to do this, pay attention to that, because often it's showing you, you know, if you clean your room, lots of times you feel better, you're breathing fuller, you're relaxed, your energy is calm, and then that's a much better place to be trying to work on that project from. So that is part of, you know, like the abundance flow of things. And when you think about second chakra as well, I'm sure most of you don't actually think about it the way I do, because that's how my team communicates. The wisdom is through the energy fields and the chakra systems. So the second chakra, that sacral chakra, is also all about relationships. And so if things aren't working for you in any relationship, and, you know, this is one of those places where people are like, well, you know, this relationship is fine, but I'm having trouble at work. Well, as soon as you're having trouble at work, the energy wave is going through all of your other relationships. So we don't do one thing independently. They're always interconnected. So you can look at, okay, where am I having trouble in, if I'm having any trouble in my relationships, where are those located? For me, one of the things that I do where if I feel like that energy is a little bit off, I do this journaling exercise where I write down what's frustrating me in my life, just randomly, whatever's frustrating me, because that takes away some of our energy. It starts to deplete us without us even being aware. So if you get annoyed that, you know, your son didn't put the dishes in the dishwasher, that is taking some of your energy. It's one thing to feel the annoyance, say something about it, release it. It's another to feel the annoyance, not say anything, and then you're sitting with it and it's still moving. So that starts depleting that second chakra, the creativity and the abundance from flowing. It also starts to, you know, maneuver your relationships to get a little bit out of whack. So do you have a coworker? Do you have someone that you're having a hard time with? That is an indication of something that's trying to shift in your second chakra. And with that, the cool thing about that is that this is an opportunity for you to set new boundaries. Because when we're having difficulty in any relationship, it's usually about boundaries. that there either are none or the ones that exist are too rigid for both partners, and you're bumping up against that energy. And, you know, I didn't realize as an empath how important boundaries were for me to feel safe in any relationship. And one of the things I didn't even realize was like part of that was the simple act of, you know, my time. So as a healer, it's really necessary for us to set boundaries on like the length of a session, right? Or how long we're going to talk on the phone to our best friend. We set a boundary on that because our time is valuable, because it is part of our energy. We're dedicating our attention and intention in those moments. And so one of the things that I used to be very leaky on was ending on time. And because of that, my clients didn't always show up on time, and they expected me to go longer than the session was, because I was just trying to help. And in that frame of I was just trying to help, I was sacrificing my time and my well-being by allowing other people to push the boundaries on that. So when I started to get very specific about this is how long an appointment is, this is how much an appointment is, no, I'm not going to give you a discount, because that's like asking somebody to discount their self-worth. I wouldn't do that for you. I wouldn't expect you to do that for me, kind of thing. That actually started my abundance flow more fully. It also opened up my creativity because I wasn't feeling resentful that, you know, somebody was late or took up my time. And that took up extra energy in my field as well. So when I started setting much clearer boundaries, I found that I had more energy. I had more vitality. And as you do this, you know, sort of inventory of what's going on in my second chakra, boundaries may be one of them. And I invite you to find ones that would help with your quality of life. And like I said, it could be as simple as like being punctual and making sure that other people are punctual with you. I know for some of my clients who have difficulty with money in particular, the simple act of paying a bill on time and in full can be very liberating, and it also takes away this energy that money is to blame. Rochelle said, Trump is feeling bothered. Trump is feel bothered, seriously. There are people who are teaching us boundaries, right? And our current president he does not have very good boundaries in his relationships. And we can sense that because we feel like our energy, we can feel victimized by the energy because his energy is going out there in a very broad way. And I am in a place where, you know, I love to learn. I love to learn from other people's successes. I love to learn from other people's failures. And so, you know, not to get very political because we all have different opinions on things. I feel that we're learning a lot in this political process right now on the planet. Of what do we really want? What do we really need? What is really acceptable to us as a planet of our morals, our values, and do we really mean them? And so in that energy, we're setting much stronger boundaries on what we need. You're seeing a lot of people who are really, that second chakra, as I said, right now is very active because people are saying, this is who I am and this is how I want to be treated. And so we have these, people on the planet who are wonderful catalysts for us to set boundaries on. And, releasing any blame or shame, it's a wonderful learning opportunity, because we had gotten pretty complacent. We got used to things being a certain way, and it didn't really matter if it didn't work great because it still worked okay, and okay was good enough at that point. We're moving into a vibration where okay is not okay. We expect more, we want more, we deserve more, we are worthy of having leaders in all facets of life, whether they're political or spiritual or our boss at work. We deserve to have leaders who are in their heart space, who are in their heart center, and who are really genuinely concerned for other people, not on their own agenda of, I want to be president or I want to be the CEO of this company. And so they'll do whatever it takes to get there and say whatever needs to be said. We've had a lot of that energy. So with what's going on with the sacral chakra, we're really being in this wonderful place where we can start to choose the relationships that we want. And in that regard, we can really check into what are we feeling as part of this disturbance, this turbulence that's going on, and our emotions, our water energy is sloshing around really right now. And some of us may feel that as a tsunami, and some of us may feel it like, it's just choppy waters, but that water energy is getting stirred up. So there are all these feelings that we have that were never expressed, that we stuffed down because it wasn't okay to feel them. And so who are we projecting those feelings on? And, somebody outside of us who we don't actually have to meet, we can project all sorts of energy. It's why all the tabloids and the news are so popular, is because we can project all our anger at people we've never met, and just try to release it that way. Or all of our sadness in these stories, of like, and it activates the grief within us that we haven't expressed. So what I invite you to do in this turbulent time is check in with your emotions, see what's coming up. And if you're frustrated, are you at the proper level of frustration for what's going on for you in this moment? Or, are you actually super angry and it's just about a dish in the sink? Because if it's just a dish in the sink and you're super angry, then all this old anger from the past for every other time somebody didn't put a dish away, or somebody didn't value what you needed and what you wanted, it all gets stuck in there. It gets all projected forward in there. So notice in your energy field, are your emotions and your feelings that you're having around your situation, are they in the proper perspective for what's going on? And that can be super, super hard to know, super hard to see. And really it takes a lot of willingness to let go of the need to be right, for us to really check in and see how how that's going. Hi, Minnie. Hi, Gina. Welcome to the show. Thanks for checking in. So this is one of those, we're talking about that sacral chakra, that little bugger that controls a lot. When we think about it, controls sex, money, and relationships. That's enough. It controls all of our emotions, and any, if you've ever had trauma or abuse, it's still connected to that second chakra. So if somebody does something and it upsets you, we can get to a place. I had very severe PTSD. And so something little would happen and I'm in all the anger from my old trauma. And you blow your stack and you don't even understand why. And that's because there's energy there that's trying to clear. The way that we can think about this is that, as we're going through this shift, this turbulent energy on the planet that's going to continue for a while, but today is a doozy with the eclipse, we're getting shook up. And the heavy stuff, like when you shake water, the heavy stuff will separate and go to the bottom. Now, you can leave it there and have it mixed back into the water, or you can kind of scoop in and clear some out, right? You can dredge the water to find what's in there that doesn't really belong. That's when we're trying to do things to get our energy moving again. And, when we're looking at relationships and our feelings, if we get annoyed about a particular pattern that we have or a habit that we have, it's a good idea to sit down with your partner and have an open communication about it. And when I say open communication, it's not blaming, you did this to me kind of thing. It's saying, I've noticed that we have this pattern. And here's the pattern, and it frustrates me. So I am looking for solutions to shift this pattern and see if it irritates them too. My husband and I have very different approaches to projects. He is very methodical, step by step, and he cannot jump ahead. It actually stresses him out. When I see a project, I see all the steps, and I don't necessarily do the steps all in order. If I can see that a step up here can get done in like 10 minutes and I can get it out of the way, I'm going to jump and do that 10-minute step to get it out of the way. But he's over here and he wants to finish right here. So to him, I've jumped ahead. But for me, I see it as it's on the list to get accomplished, and I'm knocking off a task that's on the list. And so we're both working on, this is a big one for us. And this is something we're both working on because in the past, we just simply avoided doing any projects together. And we've been married 33 years. There comes the time when you need to do things together. And so you need to have conversations about what people need, how it's expected, so that you're on the same page and you're not sabotaging someone else and they're not sabotaging you. And so when we're doing, looking at, okay, my abundance isn't flowing. Where am I leaking energy? Where am I having clutter energy happening? It's all inside of us, no matter what. It's got its home there, or it wouldn't be impacting us. when somebody else is having, something happen or go on for them, it doesn't necessarily influence us. It might, but it's one of those things that we can manage if it's outside of us. When it starts to impact us and our emotions and how we do things, then we know we're starting to move out of flow energy. And I hope all of this is kind of making sense for you. I'm having a little difficulty talking about it because my team is in a much higher vibration than a third dimensional second chakra. So there's like a delay in communication. I'm working with a new team. I still have my old team, but I have this new team who's really trying to help me hone in on my skills. So with the second chakra, it's sort of a no-brainer. If you're in the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension, you're like, well, your water has to flow or nothing's going to flow. And it seems kind of, understated, but I often will use the analogy of a house. Our second chakra is the plumbing of the house. If water's not flowing, you are not taking a shower. You are not having a drink. You are not going to the bathroom. You are not too happy, right? If water's not flowing in your house, how long can you go without water flowing in your house before it starts to be a problem? Well, our second chakra is our water flow. So, and most of us aren't flowing with a very good set of pipes. So how do we upgrade our pipes? Well, we start cleaning our energetic house. And most of that comes from really making space for you to feel all your feelings fully, for you to open communication with others in your relationships so that you are really clear on what you need and how you need it, and listening to what they need and how they need it, because then we're setting really good boundaries of what's expected, and then everybody can follow that, and then there's no energy pull, it's just flow between both of you. And then the last thing is that, how are we using our creation energy? Is that flowing? Or do we have to work at it? Is it a chore? And when we're working at creation, as opposed to just allowing it to happen, then something's sticky, something's trying to move. And our lowest three chakras are considered our survival chakras. So they're the closest to the earth. They're the ones who are going to have the most garbage that gets shook up as we're going through the vibrational shifts. So, the meditation for today is to really open and expand the second chakra and all the ways that it connects to the others. Because if we don't have flow in our second chakra, well, then it's really hard to experience love fully. How well do you think your blood flow is if the water energy of water is not moving through you? Or how well are you breathing? How is your lymphatic system draining? Because if the water energy isn't flowing, nothing else is flowing really well either. So we can be having difficulty with even our pulse, our heart rate, and for those of you who are, women who are still in their cycles, how well is that flowing for you? Is it easy without pain? Is it, because that is another indication that there's energy trying to clear. So let's see if we can get some healing done, because I'd really love to get you guys back in the flow. If you're not in it, or open up the flow that you have, because we could all use that. And to sort of let you know that, remember, with this eclipse energy today, it's difficult for us to not be in our survival body, not be connected to those base energies that are under construction right now as the earth is shifting. And the planets around us are helping us with that. So how about we use the energy that's out there to get some real movement? And it will help, Rochelle, it will help with pain, so that we can send some extra healing energy to our Star Nations friend who's asked for extra healing. So, lots of talking. So let's start by really trying to ground our energy. So you want your hands and your legs uncrossed. And we all have different ways of grounding. So I invite you to ground in your own way. And whether you experience like roots coming out from your feet, whether you connect through your first chakra, allowing your tailbone energy to extend and create a giant cord of connection deep within the earth, whether you use your heart chakra to ground you through your third chakra and your second and your first, all the way through the earth, or even if you invite Grandmother Earth to come up to you, to hold on to you, to ground you. We really want to be centered and connected. Nice. And so we're going to invite in the divine energy, however we connect and perceive that, to connect to us and through us for this healing meditation. And we set the intention that the healing will be for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. And we invite in our spiritual team from each and every direction, every vibration, frequency, so that we are connecting with the highest, brightest, and fullest vibrations available to us in this moment. And we set a very sacred container of healing around us. And that sacred container allows us to feel safe and secure. Yeah. So I'm going to invite you to focus on your second chakra, right below the belly button, that sacral chakra, which is orange in color. We've spent a lot of time talking about it. And just be aware, does it feel like an orb? Does it feel circular? Does it feel oval? Does it feel wobbly? Are there any places where you can sense the energy isn't flowing fully? And you don't have to know what the energy is connected to, just simply be in this aware state of how full and complete is my sacral chakra in this moment. And I invite you to call in the divine energy to begin to clear any debris in the sacral chakra that no longer serves us. Whether it's created and connected to our feelings, our emotions, our relationships, our creativity, our abundance, and whether it's connected to our sensuality or our sexuality, because that is also energetic flow.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Good. And just sense whether or not you are feeling
Yeah.
connections to your old relationships,
Yeah.
connections to boundaries that need to be set with others.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're going to check in to see how this beautiful chakra is connecting with all the other chakras within our system. So let's check in to see how the first and second chakra are working together.
Yeah.
So feeling and sensing how our safety and our security have been influencing our flow. For when we feel fear or anxiety or pain, our energy squeezes.
Yeah.
So inviting the energy flow and the connection and the relationship between the first and second chakra to open more fully,
Yeah.
giving us a stronger footing for our survival body.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And now checking in and seeing how our second chakra is connected to our third chakra right above it in our solar plexus.
Yeah.
That seems like it's got a lot in it as a connection. So how is our flow connected to our self-worth, our self-confidence?
Yeah.
How is it connected to our desire and passion? To the fire within? Noticing if any anger or fear frustration, resentment has taken root and held on.
God.
In that second chakra, connection to our third, our sacral, and our solar plexus, how are they dancing together?
God.
Are they in a tug of war?
God. God.
Or are they willing to work together?
God.
And now seeing how our second chakra is connected to our heart. How are the flow of love and our second chakra connecting? Our relationships and love, and do we have any pockets of sadness, grief, or disappointment that our heart has held on to? Have we used our will to get through tough things recently?
God.
Because that strains our relationship between our sacral and our heart chakras.
God. God.
And how is our connection with our inner child and our second chakra? Because those two can run at opposites sometimes as well.
God. 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 God.
There we go. Now it's lightening up.
God. 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 God.
And now connecting to your throat chakra and your second chakra. And just noticing the relationship between your authentic voice, your authentic truth, and your flow. How is that expression being allowed to take root and creatively expressed?
God.
Who we are, how we are, or are there ways that we have held back being our true self?
God.
Held back saying or communicating what we truly need
God.
or what we want or desire.
God. God. God.
And connecting into our third eye, connecting our intuitive connection to our senses and our primal connection to our senses, and seeing if there's the communication between them, that open clarity, that sense of knowing and connectedness. Is all that in flow? Are you open to all of those pathways to be fully opened?
Yeah.
For your sight, for your sound, for your touch, for your taste, all of them to be wide open And are we comfortable with our intuitive energy helping and assisting our energy flow? And even just having a moment of awareness of how those two in connection feels within our heart as well. For these three feeling centers work very much together. That team being open
Got it. Got it.
to all sorts of possibilities. And now allowing that second chakra to connect with our crown. Are we allowing space for divine energy flow to flow to us and through us in each of our energy centers? Or are we only comfortable with the few? And how is the divine energy flowing through us?
Got it.
And is it rooted all the way down into Grandmother Earth? Or do we only allow the divine energy to flow from our heart to our head?
Got it.
Because the second chakra fills with the divine connection. It gets its energy, its stamina from the divine.
Got it.
And is it fully tapped into that endless supply?
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
And if there are any spots in your body right now that feel out of sync, out of flow, like maybe in your back,
Got it.
in your hips,
Got it.
the base of your skull,
Got it.
between your shoulder blades,
Got it. Got it. Got it.
really opening the energy so that the divine can remove any other blocks that are happening beneath us and inside us.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
And now just take a moment with your spiritual team to ask for some guidance on how to help you expand your sacral energy flow, to expand your abundance, your creativity, your connection with others in relationships, or making room for you to feel all your feelings fully.
Got it.
Without collapsing or shutting that down.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
And if your team doesn't answer you in this exact moment, invite them to show you in some other way, either in sleep time or through messages, whatever way you are open to receiving the communication.
Got it.
Because expanding the second chakra energy also expands our relationship with our spiritual team. It opens more possibilities for us to experience the guidance and the wisdom that our team would love to share with us.
Got it.
All right, and gently allowing any extra energy that we don't need to flow back down into the earth. And you can begin to start to dissolve your meditation. Allow it to come back into the moment.
Got it.
And Rochelle, I'm sorry that you hear mumbled voices behind me. I almost wonder what that is. I know that I have an air conditioner running in the room, so maybe you're hearing that. But when I hear mumbled voices, it's often you may be hearing your team trying to communicate through me. So hopefully, you were able to work your way through that. I don't worry too much about that, whether you can actually hear the words I'm saying, because my team works through the vibration of my voice. So it works on animals who don't even know what I'm talking about. It works on people who are deaf. So I'm not, it's all about the vibration and the frequency. No worries, Neshi. We know how busy you are. Nice. Thanks for sharing and spreading the word. So Gina, sharp pain in the back of your head at the base of the skull would be my guess. That, take a deep breath and invite that to release. That is a location where our spiritual team can connect to us. It's part of those aha moments, the energetic wisdom is able to come through, whether it comes through our crown or comes through the third eye, it can come through, but it connects at the back of our head. So maybe a large piece of downloaded information came in, and that can cause pressure too. If you have any, you can put pressure on it with your thumbs. You can use heat on it. And frankincense is my oil of choice when you use that. If you don't have that, you could use lemon. Sometimes lemon will disperse that energy as well. So I hope that's working better for you. So here we are. We've now moved some energy in our sacral. We've moved some space for abundance to flow, for our relations to flow, for our feelings to flow. So it's up to us how we decide to use the new energy. And the one thing that is super clear from my team all the time is that the things that we ask for to create that are done through love energy flow faster. When we get caught in fear, we kind of pull the reins back on the flow because we're doubting whether the divine will actually provide for us or help us work through things. And it can be difficult when we're tired, when we're in pain. When we're going through an upgrade, it's not a fun ride. And even if you know that that's what the pain is, or that's what the sluggishness is, it doesn't make it any easier. So make sure that you guys are taking really good care of yourselves. The weather's gotten warmer for a lot of people, or more humid. So are you drinking enough water? Are you, making sure that you're getting the movement, the exercise that you need? Because sometimes we we sit still too much when it's hot because, we don't want to get sweaty, but the energy needs to flow. It needs to get out there. So I hope you guys are working on that. So Gina, it sounds like you're energetically detoxing. So I'm holding space for you because that's what a lot of this is for. All of these upheavals with the planet are for us to awaken more energy within ourselves. And that's my job, to help heal the healers so that you can awaken to your true potential, awaken to who you truly are. And with that, guys, it's the end of my show. I hope you will join me tomorrow night for Soul Connections, where I'll be doing card draws as well as a healing meditation. We begin the show at 7. And I look forward to seeing you on the flip side. And I'll also be back here at Chakra Sessions next week at noon. And Neshi has her show at 3, the Spiritual Roundtable, as well as Communications from Home this evening at 8. So with that, you guys, have a blessed rest of your week, and I'll catch you the next time I catch you. Have a great time.